Hello, Fight and Sight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm your co-host, Brady Bunch, a.k.a. the Non-Binary Ninja. And with me, as always, I'm here with Timmy B, the brilliant man that has brought you this awesome podcast. But before we start our show, we want to make sure you take a time to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Tell your friends. You may have followed already, right? But we're growing, and we're really excited because we have an awesome guest today. On today's episode, we're going to talk to an actual king from the UFC. We're going to talk about social media manners and a whole lot more. I think it's going to be a fun show. Hit it, Tim.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight and Sight podcast. Let's talk.
Our guest today is a mixed martial arts legend who previously fought for Strikeforce and King of the Cage before joining the UFC, where he has put on unforgettable fights for over a decade. He next fights April 22nd, taking on the man that beat Paddy Pimblett, Jared Flash Gordon. His fighting style can only be described as poetry in motion, and it is both his fighting in the cage and his words outside of it that has garnered him millions of fans around the world, including yours truly. He's been my favorite fighter for as long as I can remember, and it's an absolute honor and a privilege to have him here today. Everybody, please welcome to the podcast, Bobby King Green. Holy.
That was a dope intro. I like that. That felt dope.
You deserve it, my friend. You deserve it. How are you, Bobby?
Just finished training. Getting ready to kick some ass once again. 10 years strong. Can I keep up? Can I keep doing what I do every time I step in the cage, brother?
Of course you can, man. Putting on show after show. Bobby, people love you. And before we get into the podcast, I do have to say thank you so much to a mutual friend now, DeChusta, who put us in touch with you. He says that you are a great guy. He says that you guys have been friends for a while and that you have always been an amazing person.
Man, Chu's a family friend. Thank him for even connecting us. You know, be honest, I stay away from like too much talking. Like I'm more of a doer than a talker. You know, sometimes I feel like I talk too much. I'd rather just be getting to action. But he said, "Hey, you really need to do this interview. This guy's been looking for you." And I'm like, "True, I'm going to do this one for you." So here I am.
I love that guy, man. I will always be a fan of yours and a friend of DeChusta's for sure. You talk about always wanting to entertain, inspire, and motivate people. And, you know, I feel like you should know that you do. We got massive reaction to you compared to anybody that we've ever had on the podcast. People love you, Bobby, not just for your fighting style. Half the questions I got were about your fighting style, and half the questions I got were about you as a person and about you as a motivator. Before I get into the questions and stuff like that, I did want to show you a few fan art that got submitted for you. People did stuff for you, so I wanted to show it. And
let me take this up.
Yeah, give respect. This one posted yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. This is cool. This is Pipe Angel art.
That shit's sick.
That is crazy, man.
That's who?
Pipe Angel art on Instagram.
Pipe Angel, like Pipe?
Yeah. Angel.
Okay, I'm going to look him up. That's sick. I need that in my house.
Dude, I don't know how he does that. He's done that for a few people. It's like he's doing it with marker, right? Like all the lines and stuff with the marker.
Man, that's so fucking clean. I'm going to tell him to hit me up, man. I need that in my living room.
It's crazy, man. Here is some art done by our friends MMA Social Squad. There you go.
That's sick. Okay. Look at these.
Yeah, and he's got, see the little kings, the little chess pieces in the back there? That's pretty cool.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And then I did want to play, this was the video that we got sent in that we used for our promo. But here's what people do for you all the time.
Hey, did anybody out there who's ever been put down? Anybody who's ever been forgotten? They turn their back on you? You do this for me. Put your middle fingers in the air and tell us that fuck. Try to run, he got shot in his shoulder. Throwing up, you get put on a poster. Look at that nigga's up in a boulder. He try to rush, so be running a motor. Have a perky, I hate when I'm sober. Ride with that knock for myself from a loner. I'm a demon, all these niggas golden. I'ma start fucking them niggas approach us.
That. That's what I'm talking about.
Bobby, it is crazy, man. The things that people do for you, they love you. You said that, you motivate and inspire people. And like you said, you don't do a lot of these things. You don't talk a lot, but why not, man? You are so motivational when you're in the cage, when you're at those fight weeks, you're always talking and you're always so positive in what you talk about. Why don't we see you more?
I'm like a bear in a cave, bro. I mind my business, I don't want to be in everybody's business. I feel like sometimes when you talk too much, you can maybe saturate yourself too much, I feel like when I do an interview, I want it to be personal, like I came here personally for you. I think this is the second interview I did this year. I probably won't do any more, unless I'm forced to by the UFC or somebody says, hey, I want to pay you to do it. Besides that, I'm like, man, I really don't do the interview stuff. It's just like, I don't know. Like some people, there's always some way for some hater to talk and say, well, he feels like this or he's like this and be judged. And I just stay in my cave. And sometimes they knock on and they say, hey, I need you to come out and fight. And I just come out the cave and this is who I am. I go back in and mind my business,
Yeah.
So I just felt like that a little bit. And then like, do you know who Young Boy is?
Yeah.
Yep.
NBA Young Boy. So something kind of like that, like where I just feel like I'm doing something different. You know what I mean? Like y'all could do the interviews. Y'all could do all that. I'm just more so just quiet to myself, kind of like just more reserved, when it comes, I feel like it's at least it's special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And actually that's going to lead me into a question later, but you're so eloquent when you talk and you have so much positivity and you inspire people to do better and to be better. After the fight game is over, will we see a Bobby Green motivational speaking tour? Like what's after fighting for you? Because you're too good of a person to just fade away.
You want the honest truth?
Yeah.
What I believe, I think I'll just fade away. I'll be honest, I think I'll just fade away. I don't know. I don't pay attention to much of that stuff, but I got too many other issues helping the people around me and getting those things in line. It's more so trying to figure out how I'm going to get us all across the finish line, I got so many different people. And I was born in foster care. No mom, no dad, just Mexican, black, white families. And so all these different people who come in my life, I want to make sure that I can help them in some way, push them in some way. And sometimes that may take some time and energy, like when I get done with this, I'm going to go help my dad. We're going to be going rebuilding his house and fixing these different things with his stuff, And so that's my focus for the next few months. And then after that, whoever needed help after that, that's where my attention is. So it's not my kids, if it's not my friends, if it's not my family, though that's already enough as we speak. But as far as that stuff, I think I'm just going to fade away, bro. I don't know if that sounds bad or not.
No. I mean, it's beautiful because that shows the kind of family man you are, the kind of personal person that you are. But man, I'll tell you, just keep doing those in-cage interviews and keep doing those in-cage motivational speeches because just those clips alone hit so hard to people, man. It makes people think so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah,
no, it does. I mean, you spoke before. One of the quotes that I had from you that I can always remember is you said, and today's world is way worse than the world you said it in, but you said you can't beat hate with hate. You can only beat hate with love.
Speaking of that, I said that with my pop. He's right here. So what's up, Pop?
How you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Jake Bainey.
I'm great.
Yeah. How you doing, my friend? I heard his crazy story on the Joe Rogan podcast. Dude, you're insane. I can't even believe that story. And for people that haven't heard that or listened to that interview, check out that Joe Rogan interview. That was insane with you, my friend.
Appreciate that.
I can't believe what you went through.
It's crazy. I was in the sauna last night and some guy was like sitting next to me and we're kind of talking a little bit. And he's like, well, and I mentioned I'm a UFC fighter. He's like, yeah. And he's like, man. Then he mentioned Joe Rogan. I was like, hey, I was on Joe Rogan. He's like, you were? So he was just like, okay. He's like, what's your name? I was like, Bobby Green. He's like, wait a minute. You tell the one with the jail story? He's like, oh, that was one of the best stories ever. So we got something timeless on Joe Rogan. That's really dope for me and my dad.
Yeah. No, that was amazing. And the whole relationship that you have, right? And hearing that story and hearing how that went through. I mean, that was some insane stuff. Is that all cleaned up now? Like Jake
all behind it. That's all behind it. We're good people, bro. We just happened to come into an unfortunate situation where we were just trying to purchase a car. We just came to purchase a car, and someone tried to burn us, and it got really out of hand, and it just turned ugly, and the worst possible. We lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. We lost time. We lost relationships. We lost a bunch of different stuff, going through that war.
Yeah. And it's only because of who Benny is that he was able to survive that kind of, survive that incarceration, right? Like being able to survive in that environment. I'll tell you, I was listening to that story and I was like, I think I would just be dead. Like, I don't even know how I would survive I would not be able to survive that. And to think that there's probably a lot of people that go into that and do not survive.
I think the really dope part about it was that he was able to break it down for folks who don't understand the system. A lot of people don't understand what happens behind those doors, And so I just give it a little insight on how things are ran in there. I thought it was really dope.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. But going back to your quote about you can't beat hate with hate, you can only beat hate with love. Can you expand upon that? Like, how does that make you feel, or what are you meaning to say to people there?
I got a lot of flack behind that, to be honest. This is a time where Black Lives Matter was really at its highest. And here I am, a black man, and have a white dude next to me. And it's just like, I guess they took it as a bad look, Personally, myself, I don't worry about, like I said, I'm in a cave. I don't worry about what's happening in the world so much. I just happen what's happening around me at this time. And so I was just trying to explain to people that if you come to me and you say, hey, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and I go, hey, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere but two sides, and no one's going to see either side of it, And so if I can get your ear by just giving you a little love, but you didn't expect. You expected me to say fuck you back. So if I didn't say fuck you back and I was like, bro, and I said something different that you didn't expect, you'd be like, and now I got your ear a little bit. Now I got your ear because I gave you some love, which you didn't expect. And so that's what I'm saying is beating hate with love, All you're going to do is make a fire worse by putting more gasoline on it. It's not going to change anything. But if I can take enough time to understand what you're going through and why you're saying what you're saying, and then give you a different approach than just to be so, at you, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, no, and I hear you because I think you stay away from social media pretty much, right? Like online comments. Although you did say one time, I heard you in one interview saying that you do read the comments and like you take it, like you
I used to
it.
A lot, yeah. Yeah, I used to when I wanted to know what my critics were thinking, I wanted to know, like, what am I going to give the audience? Because we're all selling products. And so I want to make sure the audience is being happy with the product. But one thing I realized in there is there's a lot of trolls these days where it's just not even about somebody being genuine. Sometimes it's more so about, hey, I just want to say something stupid. Hey, I just want to be seen. So I can just say something on your comments so I can be seen. It's not even trying to put something constructive into the conversation, like, hey, this or that about the actual fight. It's no, hey, he's stupid. It's like, Yeah. And so a lot of times if I had listened to those comments, I probably wouldn't do the same things I'm doing now, Like a lot of people told me I talk too much. They told me I do this and he's too much antics and they critique me a lot. So I understood it, but then I understand at the same time I have to know myself, what product I'm trying to give out and stay focused on that. Yeah.
Your product is a good one though, my friend. I know in the, the fact that UFC seems to really love you, right? And
you think so?
Okay, do they not? I mean, they did an origin story on you, which to the people out there, if you have not watched Origins Bobby Green, go watch that on YouTube. That is kick-ass. It tells your story in a beautiful way, heart-wrenching, but beautiful way. And, you
so dope. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
What I mean more so is like, I feel like you were trying to say like, I'm loved by millions and I push this positivity, My last few shows have been in the Apex. And I felt like I can't really get to a crowd and give them that message, for one. Yeah. Two, my last two shows that I was in front of a crowd, like I was in Texas. They went nuts for me, and I'm not from Texas. I've never been to Texas, don't know anybody in Texas. And so I feel like I'm kind of getting this stardom, but I feel like the UFC doesn't want to give me the true stardom. They're like, well, then he'll be the next Nate Diaz, and where he has his own power and he has his own say-so and he can do and move how he wants to and demand his dollar amount.
But, we're all in agreement that the Apex sucks. We hate it. It's so stupid, Bobby. Like, people like you there's no way they should be confining you to that apex. It's ridiculous. Like it does not make any sense. I think they might be getting away from it. Pray. I mean, when they had the slap fighting event on the same day as the UFC, they moved UFC to that other venue in Vegas for one of the cards. Smaller crowd, but hey, man, it's a crowd. Like, it's better than nothing. So, but okay,
exactly.
I think
that's what you're saying about that. So like you were saying about that the Apex, and so I fought the last 2 fights in the Apex. Is it the last 2? I think so. Yeah, but I just felt like I wanted to give the crowd something special. If it's going to be Apex and I'm paying $2,000 for those tickets, because they're expensive,
yeah,
then I'm going to give them a special treatment. The last fight, they heard everything I was saying. Like, they were really into it. They were like, oh, like, we were fighting with Drew Dober, and he said something to me, and I hit him, pow, pow. I was like, shut up. And the whole crowd said, oh, like, they heard it. They could hear everything I was saying, And so it was a really entertaining show for them. They had a great time.
Yeah, they got their money's worth and more just from the Bobby Green fight. That's for sure. You're always a good dude, man. With your opponents, it seems like for the most part, you always are quite friendly with them, even after the fact. I loved when you fought Rafael Fiziev, and then you guys were shown out partying right after the fight. You guys go to war, and then out you are partying. I mean, is that just the kind of guy you are? It's the business is the business, and then it's all friendly after?
Exactly. I leave it up to the opponent on where they want to play with it, I just match the energy, And most guys don't really want to be, like, mean with me, so I just go, okay, cool. But I bring that energy, like, I kind of feel you out, like, hey, are you giving me negativity? Or, oh, okay, then if that's what you want, then we can bring that negativity to you, But it's serious up until after we fight. It's like, all right, we fought each other. What more can we do to each other? We played for 15 minutes. I tried to kill you. You tried to kill me. It didn't work, so let's just get over it,
Yeah. With Jared Gordon, your next opponent, he's a guy that talks a lot about men's mental health, and he's very into like helping people and motivating people similar to yourself. Is that something that you respect in Jared Gordon? That's something that perhaps after the fight you guys can bond over?
I didn't know all that. I didn't know much about Jared,
Oh, okay.
I've seen him on many cards. Like, we've been a lot of cards around each other. So I've seen him kind of like walking by, and I see him like, oh, okay, potential. We could potentially come across each other. Here we are, and that's dope for him that he's doing that, I had no idea. I don't really focus too much to know. But yeah, maybe after the fight we'll talk and chop it up. Who knows? We'll see how he plays it. Like I said, whatever Jared brings, I'm going to match his energy.
Nice. Now, when I'm talking about the UFC liking you and respecting you, the reason I say that is because the fights that you always get, and we've been talking about this Brady Bunch on the podcast recently, the fights that you get, Bobby, are always fights that seem to help demonstrate and promote your skills and your style. Like, it's like they're giving you fights that they know the fans want. They're like, Drew Goldberg, perfect.
You hear what he just said? Did you just hear what he just said? My dad's eyes are big as this right now. Like, what are you talking about? We have 2 different perceptions of what you see and what we see.
Really?
You may see it that way. I may see it totally differently. I see it as they're trying to chop us up, okay? I think that was thrown to the wolves to fight Fiziev. I fought Fiziev on 20-something days notice. Yes. Don't think that these things were like you see it that way. No, I see it as them trying to get me to fight the young up-and-comer and him to make a name off of me. And even then, he was knocking everybody out. He's been finishing everybody. Me and Justin's the only guy he couldn't finish. And I feel like I whooped his butt up just like Justin whipped him up. But I feel like they're just trying to use those certain guys, the new guys, to beat up the old guys, replace you. So you see it that way as in bringing my style. No, I brought that out myself. They were trying to say, hey, if you don't do this, you're out of here.
All right.
Yeah,
no, wait.
2 different ways.
Hold on. Which one were you saying was the bad one? The one that you called out? Are you saying the Islam?
No, I'm saying the Fiziev.
Oh, the Fiziev?
Yeah, that was short notice too.
Yeah, but
all
Bobby,
these guys.
But as the number 1 Bobby Green fan on the planet, I'm telling you, every fight that they give you, I'm always betting on Bobby Green. I'm always like, Bobby Green's going to whoop this dude. Like, there's never a fight that you're in that I'm like, this is one where Bobby's being fed to the wolves. That's because I don't think Bobby could be fed to the wolves. But I always am betting on Bobby, man. Like, your style, your ability, the fact that you're a wrestler, I guarantee you all these new UFC fans don't know that about you. Like, they don't understand that that's your base. You're actually a wrestler at heart. and a striker second. That's ridiculous. I mean, a ton of fan questions, Bobby, came in. How the hell do I become a striker like Bobby Green?
Everybody wants to know that. You got to come train me. That's the only way you can learn. You got to come train me. That's the only way I can tell you. I can try to tell you, go do this, go do that. But no, only way you can learn this is by being around it.
When you fade away, are you also going to open a little gym where people could hire you for your skills to learn how to fight like you?
Gyms are complicated. You got to deal with kids. You got to deal with unruly parents. My kid deserves this. My kid deserves that. It's a lot, you know. So I don't know about a gym. A gym is complicated. Maybe if I had coaches that could run it, and maybe I could just come in and say, "Hey, let's do a little this, touch it here, fine tune the best guys." I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt me.
Bobby, I will say we had on our podcast the other day, I know she trains in your area. I think you have the same coach, and I'm not sure which coach she's talking about, but Chelsea Chandler in the UFC. She trains out of California, out of Stockton. I reached out to her because she was on our podcast, and I was like, "Do you train with Bobby Green?" She goes, "No, he has the same coach as me, but I haven't met him." You two are like two peas in a pod. She's got a badass attitude, a badass swagger.
Chelsea what?
Chelsea Chandler of the UFC. Chandler, yeah.
Chandler.
What school you train out of?
Oh man, I don't know. I know she trains with like the Diaz brothers and stuff. And
Okay.
she said
like, no, I've never heard of a Chelsea. Never met a Chelsea.
Well, go meet her, man. She's a cool chick. She's a
no
badass.
disrespect to her. I just haven't bumped in. She hasn't messed with me yet.
No, no worries.
You remember when you've ever went with me? Like, man, I went with Bobby Green. It's different from everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, but in terms of your relationship with UFC, they must love you in terms of like what you put out there, the content you put out there, the fact that you did step up against Islam on short notice. I mean, that's not an easy fight to take on, and you did it. Colby Covington recently said a statement, and I was wondering how you would react to this. Colby Covington was saying, "Don't cross the boss." How do you feel like that? Don't cross the boss. And he was speaking to like Leon Edwards when Leon was saying he's not going to fight who the UFC tells him to and all that. I feel like you're a guy that, hey, I've accepted all the fights. I've done what I do. You're a good company guy. What would you tell young and up and coming fighters in terms of that kind of statement? Don't cross the boss. How important is that?
Interesting. I would say more so, do you. That's all I can tell somebody, to do you. And be grounded in yourself. I just let my work speak for itself. You know, where I'm at is where I'm at because of how much work I put in. It's not from talking like and getting my opportunity like a Kobe, you know, who uses mouthpiece to get him where he's at. He's a great fighter, not saying that at all. Yeah. But he used this other tactic to get him, to propel him. Whatever works for you, you know, and I wouldn't tell anybody to do anything different but to be yourself and be genuine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that you have your dad there, who is your coach, right? And another thing that you said in another interview that I was watching about you, you said, you know, that it's very important to have the right coach and team, and that a good coach helps you in the cage and outside of the cage.
Yeah, my dad would tell me all the time when I was younger is that he's like, Bob, I'm not really worried about you inside the cage or what you do. I'm more so worried about what the fuck you're doing outside the cage. Are you smoking too much? You know, are you hanging out with the wrong people? You know, what are they putting into you? You know, into you mentally and those things. You know, I think that's very important for a lot of us. Is when we sit down out of the cage, what are we doing? Are we just damaging our bodies? Are we putting bad things into our mind? Or are we actually staying on the hunt?
Yeah, it's so important for people to find good coaches. And it's not just about what they can teach you in the cage too. It's about having that kind of relationship. And right when you start at a gym, you can see the culture in a gym. You can see the relationship that coaches have with people. And that's something you've got to look out for, right? Like we have a lot of amateur fighters on this podcast too, Bobby. And so we talk to them about stuff like that, about like, okay, who's your coach? How are you finding your coach? And that's something that I think that people don't really realize is as important as it really is.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people think that you should go to a big gym, you know, and go get with the best and iron sharpens iron. That's cool too. But sometimes I need a little more attention. And if you're paying attention to Michael Chandler and Dominic Cruz and blah, 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 you're not going to be looking at poor or what's his name over there as much because you have to help the biggest fish. And so sometimes I think that's where we get it mixed up with training is, are you getting enough attention where those guys are watching you and say, hey, you're not moving the same. You're not moving right. You need to change this up. You need more pressure here. Those small things like that.
Yeah, that's true. Bobby, I want to ask you a question. Before I get to just some fun questions that are some fan questions, just like quick questions, I want to ask you something that my mom would always ask me growing up. Because as I watch your Instagram and I watch your Instagram stories, sometimes it seems like you have your moods. Sometimes you seem really happy. Sometimes you see down. Sometimes you see angry. And I get like all different types of Bobby Green. But I want to ask you a question that my mom asked me, I don't know, almost every day growing up. On a scale of 1 to 10, Bobby, how happy are you?
That's a great question. Can I ask you? Let me see how I can answer that for you. I'm a man, and I have a choice to figure out how happy I am or not. Okay, that's for somebody soft. That's what it sounds like. Your mother told you that, someone with feelings. You know what I'm saying? We're real men. We don't even get sometimes to check our feelings. I want to tell you, I'm tired of this shit. I'm stressed out. I got a bunch of things going on. People calling and bugging. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. So no matter how happy I feel or not, like you said, I'm going through these different things, but I like to show people that life isn't just, oh, happy. I'm so happy. No, you can't just be all happy. You can't be all good. You can't be all bad. I want to give you like a Tupac. Tupac would write a beautiful song like Dear Mama, and it could be really soulful and loving. And then you have another song, we kill and fucking, And so we're both, I want to show you a bit of both. I'm all over the place. And so when it's hot, when it's good, it's good. It's bad. And being real and human, some people go like, don't post that because people are going to get worried and people are going to be like, no, I need somebody else to know that I'm going through something just like you're going through something. We're all going through something. And yes, I can be the strong guy and the motivation guy, but I also am the guy who's still struggling and figuring it out too, brother. So I don't have the time to address how happy I am or how happy I feel. Maybe I can sit back sometimes and look at my work, but it's more so, to be honest, only time I feel happy is when I feel like I can help people, when people can come to me and I give them good and because when you're a king, everybody wants to be the king. But at the same time, everybody's watching the king and going, oh, well, if I was him, I would have done it this way. I would have spent my money like that. I would have spent it this way. I would have helped these people and not these people. I would have done this in this way. I would have been so cocky or arrogant. So you're being judged all the time. For me, it's just more so knowing deep down inside that I did it with dignity and integrity, Whatever I'm doing, it's not like it's with malice or it was just for my good. And so that's what brings me happiness is when I'll help somebody and I go, man, they look at me 5 people. Okay, let's put it this way. My baby mamas, okay? I got 3 baby mamas. 1 black, 1 white, 1 Mexican, okay? And so 3 different kids in 3 different places. Now, you kind of look at as not stable, because you're have these different situations. You don't have just one family and it's just like this, And I had to show people over time, who I am. And that gave me happiness more than anything was to show you over 10 years, you're going to know watching me. You ain't see me do nothing crazy. I've been there for my kids. I provide. I'm a loving dude. And that's more so what gives me happiness than anything. But I really don't have time to think about my happiness. I need to worry about other people's happiness.
I mean, that's the perfect answer, Bobby. I mean, it's the perfect answer because you went all around on there. But the fact of the matter
is, I'm trying to push it for man. It's like sometimes we get too caught up in our feelings. Man, we don't get that courtesy to go, how do I feel? How do I feel like man's health and mental? Get the goddamn work and you'll start feeling better. Because you're going to be so busy with this and you don't have time to be thinking about, I got practice, I got to go home and eat and then I get ready for this. I don't got time to worry about my feelings. And I just don't. I got too many things to do. And so I could worry and get caught up in my feelings and now I'm depressed and sad. Or I can worry about what's in front of me that's going to keep me busy, that keeps me changing people's lives and giving people different things that it's way much better. You know, gives you more out in the end.
Yeah. Bobby, it's the perfect answer, man. You took it a totally different angle than what I did as like an 8-year-old child, which I understand. But like you killed that answer, man. That's the right answer. And I think that's a strong message that people need to understand too, because we're talking about like the trolls and the people online and people saying shit just to make people angry, right? That's them just acting stupidly. Like they're not internalizing, not thinking about, hey, I don't have time to just goof around with my feelings. I've got to be focused. I have to be determined. I have to do and accomplish, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
you have a dad too? Mom and dad?
Yeah. Oh, well, both passed away, but yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. That's okay. Yeah. But both good people.
I'm just saying, like, your father probably didn't ask you that question, right?
No, never. Are you kidding me? No.
Exactly.
Not once. Yeah.
And we just do it. We just do it. We're not like, we could be feeling the worst and the shittiest. We just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Bobby. All right. I don't want to take too much of your time. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to get to some fan questions. So these can just be quick ones. Just bang out like 1-word, 2-word answers. Don't worry about it. Let's get to, are there any, there's boring questions and then there's some decent ones. Are there any MMA fighters who you'd like to train with but haven't gotten the chance to? That's Coach's MMA.
Dominic Cruz and Stylebender. My 3 favorite fighters: Nate Diaz, the Stylebender, Dominic Cruz. I've trained with Nate. I haven't got the other 2.
Nice, man. I like that. I like the Dominic Cruz call up. That's a good one.
So I want to see who got the best feet work. Let's see. Dominic, you can move. I can move too. Let's see if you can do this. You know, we got a footwork battle.
Yeah. We just need Dominic Cruz to get in like bulking season for about 7 years, and then he can take on a Bobby Green. At Jamboree, would you like to be included into the UFC Hall of Fame now or long after you've done your fighting career, giving you time for your return to be more special? I like that.
Would I rather be in the Hall of Fame now or later?
Yeah. Like giving it time so that like, you know, your memory is kind of gone a little bit. And then, so then when you're inducted, it's like, boom, Bobby Green, you know?
Would I be in there now or later? It really doesn't matter too much now or later. I don't know. It wouldn't matter too much. Like, shit, I don't know. If I have to answer the question, I would say, yeah, I guess give me my followers later when I'm done. I guess it gives me something to show up for. But I'll probably be fat and looking shitty as fuck. So I'm going to take it now. There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Fat, eating a bunch of food. You're like how we make fun of Patty. I'm like, God, what happened to that guy? What happened to Bobby? Did he eat Bobby?
Yeah. Next one is from MMA Access. You've been booked to fight Jim Miller several times, as well as Jorge Masvidal. When can we see you fight for the BMF title?
Man,
that's a good fight.
That is on my to-do list. Me and Jorge were supposed to fight each other, and the winner was going to get the Strikeforce belt title shot, you know, when he was down at 155. But now we're in 2 different weight classes. I feel like they need to make a BMF belt for the 155ers, and I'll hold on to that one, you know? Jim Miller's my curse. Jim Miller's my curse. I was supposed to fight him the first time. I blew my knee out. The second time I made weight, they all called me on 2 weeks' notice. I cut 30 pounds in 2 weeks. I made the weight, but after making weight, my body just shut down. I went to the hospital for like 4 days. My kidneys failed, my liver. One of my lungs collapsed. It was fucking nuts. Then the third time, I get popped for this stupid shit I got from Walmart. So he's my curse. But I'm thinking that in UFC 300, me and Jim Miller have a date. And me and him agreed to at UFC 300, I will see you there. It will be the battle of the longest standing fighter. And that's the one I'm going to take it on. I guess I'm going to run on with the most amount of fights after that.
Nice. Good, man. I like that call. Now, you said somewhere else that when you're at 175, I guess, like not while you're in training camp or whatever, at 175, you were talking about how much power you have, how much strength you have. When you cut down to 155, what do you get back up to by the time the fight is?
I'll say 68, 70.
Oh, okay.
You know, 68, 70.
All right. Let me get to some other fan questions. No. Do you listen to Young Drummer Boy, Chucks Taylor 88?
Young Drummer Boy.
Does nobody know what this is? I don't know what this is. I thought this was something people would know. Maybe this guy's plugging his own band. I don't know. Who was your toughest fight? Martinello.
What was my toughest fight?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wish I could say they're all different, bro. Everybody's different, you know? It's like asking you know, what was worse, breaking your arm or breaking your leg? They both really hurt, you know? They both really hurt. But they were just different. It was like, all right, this one I couldn't walk. This one I couldn't turn. I couldn't grab anything. You know? So they both really suck. But they're different in different ways, you know? Yeah. Like, I would say when I was coming up, my hardest fight was Tim Means.
Yes.
Tim Means and I fought each other for the King of the Cage title. I fought him on short notice again. And I got my nose broke. First punch of the fight, got a concussion, and it was a mess. But then, like, I would say they're all different in different ways. Like when I fought Thiago Moises hit me right in the eye, and I was blind for 2 rounds. So I had to fight for 2 rounds blind out of one eye. So it was like, that was a hell of a thing to deal with, you know? They're all different in different ways, you know?
Yeah.
There's some fights where I fought, like, let me see who else. Where I both like kicked my quad off my leg. Where literally I had this gone it literally gone off the bone. And so, totally different things to fight through. So your eye or your leg, you can't really walk with it, or there's so many different predicaments you can be put in, and they're all different in different ways.
Yeah. Okay. Hype or Die asks, any advice on improving your boxing? Not yours, improving his boxing.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to tell you like Chael Sonnen told me. If you want to learn how to go fight, go get in the fight. If you want to learn how to go box, you know? Go box. You'll get better at it. It'll happen, you know? The problem is, I see a lot of guys hitting bags, but I'm like, a bag don't hit back, you know? You better go hit somebody that hits back and get good at those things, you know? I rarely hit the bag more than I'm going to hit a person, you know? Being in real life in real time and doing these things in real time as close as it is to the fight. So if you want to be really good at boxing, go do boxing and do a lot of boxing. You'll get really good at it. Problem is people want to go, well, I'm doing speed bag and I'm doing the heavy bag, and they're not really sparring, you know, and they're doing mix. But I'm like, that's not going to get you really good at boxing if you really want to be a real good boxer, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Do it. UFC fighter Brian Bam Bam Barberena. He's the guy that sings he's the guy that does our.
I know Bam Bam.
Yeah, he's the guy that does our intro song. He's been on this podcast 7 times, Bobby. So you've got to get on a lot.
Bam Bam on the intro.
Yeah, Bam Bam Barberena. Yeah, he's my good friend, man.
Bam's a wild guy.
He's insane. He wrote in just to say, "I'm just a fan, Bobby. Keep being great." So I wanted to shout out Brian Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. Hey, shout out to you, fucker. You keep being fucking nuts and win those fight of the nights. That guy's crazy.
He is. Hold on, let's get a couple more. Big fans from Australia. John Gunn, if you could fight anyone in the UFC, who would it be?
Paddy Pimblton.
All right.
Smack that guy.
We would all love it.
What do you not like about that? I mean, there's so many things to hate about him, Bobby, but what do you not like about him?
I just think that I can't stand the spoiled kid, you know? You haven't worked for it yet. You haven't earned the respect yet. And you're Mr. the Baddie. If you're bad, come fight the real bad. Come fight the realest. You know, like, we don't respect you because you haven't shown that fortitude yet that we can give you, you know. And even when you lost your last fight, you come back and you say all this different stuff. All you had to say was, "Hey, the judges said it this way," and you leave it at that. But no, I won, and all the things he's saying, it's like, You sound like like a spoiled kid, you know. Instead of just being grateful and humble that somebody's behind you, you got a whole machine behind you, and you don't realize it. You know, if I had that machine, it'd be totally different.
Yeah,
that's why they won't give me a Patty Pilton fight. Those guys, he's getting all the right fights.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, I mean, as a guy that comes into the cage so styled with your cool beard, Bobby, I thought you were going to say that you hated his hair the most.
Oh, shit. Don't even get me on the hair. Don't even get on the muffin top. That guy got a bowl cut. Like, he sits a bowl on his head and just...
Yeah, no sense. You think someone would tell him by now, like, oh, fucking do something with that hair.
All right, last two questions, Bobby. I really appreciate this, my friend. Golden Mandingo asks, who are two fighters that ducked you?
Two fighters that ducked me? I don't see. So when you say duck, like those big guys, like I don't know. Like, be honest, I'm gonna try to break it down for you if I can break it down. I don't get like any of the guys I asked for. So if you want to say that was a duck, but I just never get a response. I never get anything like that, you know. And so I think I would say the Irish Dragon. I called him out, and at least he responded. He was just like, "Oh, you should go fight, and you should go fight," you know. I called Eddie Alvarez out. He's like, "Nah, you should go fight, and you should go fight." Those are the only two guys that ever respond. So I would call those two ducks. Eddie Alvarez,
because those guys knew you were calling them out.
Yes.
Right? They verbally told you they know you're calling them out, but they're still not taking the fight.
Yeah, everybody else, I just heard crickets. They never said nothing. They never acted like they didn't see it. They were just like, what? And so I wouldn't know if that's a duck because I never got a response back. But Eddie said, you should go fight somebody else instead of me. And Irish Dragon was like, I see you, but no.
You think, Brady Bunch, I don't know, you think that these UFC fighters would be like, this is like a guaranteed fight of the night. Even though I'm going to get destroyed by Bobby Green, I'll take the extra 50 G's.
You know what?
No. See, I know it makes that sense and that seems to you too. But some people don't want to go into the unknown. You know, the unknown. Yes. I want to know that I got a win coming to some people. You know, this is not a tank full of killers. I know that's what you guys perceive it as. No, it's really high school kids. And it's the cool kid, it's the dorky kid, it's the jock, and certain guys want to get down, and he'll get down with anybody. But that guy there, no, he's picking and he's choosing, and he's scared. It's like that type of dance, you know?
Yeah. All right. Sorry, two more questions. Last one. Second last one. Would you rather box Jake Paul or bare knuckle fight Mike Perry?
Mike Perry called me out for a fight. He wanted to fight me when he thought I was out of the UFC. I was like, man, I've been calling you out for a minute, and now you talking shit, and you're not even in the UFC. I'm not out the UFC. I wish I would have socked you when you were still in here.
That would have been incredible.
No, Jake Paul's ass would get it, okay? I got to stir up all those guys that think that they're the realest. You know, they are not real. I've been doing this since day one. We recognize who the real are, you know? Real recognize real. I can see you and go, oh, okay, you know? But they're just like, they got it with that boxing thing where I'm picking, I'm choosing. Nobody I've fought in, I got to pick, okay? I've never picked anybody. They just come, and I say, yes. I've never picked, okay? One time I said, I'm going to give them a list of 10 people, pick any of them. 15 people. None of those guys on the list came back, okay? So I've never got to pick.
I have a question, actually. Knowing you've got this boxing background and talking about BKFC, if they came to you down the line and offered you like a nice contract deal for a few fights, would you consider doing it?
When you're done with UFC? When you're
BKFC?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Check this out. I saw a fight one time. I fought this guy named Crazy Horse. I saw Crazy Horse fight on BKFC. And he was fighting the guy, right? And he hit the guy, pow, and he fell down. And he broke his hand. He's like, They're giving the 10 count, right? He gets back up. He hits him with the other hand. Bow, he goes back down again. You know? And so it's like, that's where you go when your fight career is over, you know? When it's over. And I have to get paid like a lot of money to do something stupid as that, you know? That's fucking stupid, you know? And to be honest, it ruins guys' faces, you know? It ruins their faces. It ruins their hands. It's a terrible thing to do, you know? I don't want to put them down for anybody who's doing that. If the money's right, go get it, bro. No, not to you guys. Go get y'all money. That shit is nuts, you know? That's just nuts. I'd rather just go sit down and work a 9 to 5, to keep it real. Unless you're going to get some crazy money, you'll see me in a warehouse. I'll be in a warehouse with stacking boxes or something, you know? Maybe before I'm doing that stupid shit.
Yeah. Brady Bunch, before we let Bobby go, is there any last words that you wanted to give to Bobby?
So, you know what? I'm debating asking this question, Bobby. I'm going to ask it. But a lot of what you were saying, first of all, I want to thank you. And first of all, your story, real quick. I went back to school. I used to teach in New York City. Taught a lot of kids from the foster care system. One of my idols grew up in the foster care system. And I actually went back to school. I'm currently working as a counselor for an agency that like helps get older kids adopted or even young adults. So like just your story is a story that I occasionally share with some of these kids I meet. So I appreciate you for that. Cause I know a lot of these kids need some type of role model or someone that can keep them going, with some of the bullshit.
Maybe you can pass me through to them, you know, if maybe I can give a word or two to advice coming from where I come from and help out, you know.
You know what? Maybe I'll reach through Timmy B and he'll reach out to your homie. Cause I've got some awesome plans of maybe starting a not-for-profit and looking for some ambassadors to help like promote. So I just
let's do it.
Yeah. The other thing, all right, and here's the thing, no judgment. But some of what you were saying, I felt like I needed to hear today. I'm clearly different. I'm non-binary. I'm also technically trans. I'm sure that confuses people. But I also fight. But I'm different than a lot of the narrative that's out there. I kind of got into this ridiculous, silly organization, and now I'm back training full time. But like I've been getting so much hate, and as this person who doesn't really fit into a box, I only want to fight cisgender men, people that have the same DNA as me, or other trans athletes. And I actually just had a boxing match against another like trans boxer earlier this month. I get so much hate more than ever with like the media and all that stuff. Like you, I've been debating, do I like bounce away from social media? Do I stop reading comments? Something I noticed is it doesn't matter who I'm fighting. I'm going to be attacked with the same nonsense. But like I'm trying to push the message that like, and this is something I've been pushing for a while. Like I want to see like, rather than people hating on everybody, I'm pushing for like trans versus trans fights. I'm pushing for like,
I can respect that.
All right. And that's basically that's what I wanted to ask. Like, do you think, I think the world would stop fighting so much if they just created a lane for athletes like me. I know there's some people from my community, but as you know, communities are divided that would hate me for even talking this way. But no, like, and what I wanted to say is, going back to the hate I receive, my method is often kill them with the kindness back. Sort of what you were saying. And it's amazing how I've made people that hate my guts, I've turned them into fans just simply by like responding with some kindness. And like over time, guess what? We don't have to agree on everything.
Over time, yeah.
Right? But they see the human side, right? It's no longer like a headline of what I am, right? So I wanted to just thank you for that. And I also wanted to pick your brain. I was always curious, like, if actual pro fighters like you would support the idea of like a trans division and all that.
Fuck yeah, bro. I'm behind that, you know, like I don't hate on nobody. If that's what you do, that's what you do, you know, no disrespect or at all. I love that idea, you know. I would be against maybe a male fighting a female sometime, you know what I'm saying, like that. But to do that, what you're talking about, I think that's dope. You know what I mean? I think that's dope.
All about fair matchmaking, right? Like,
it's even. We're even. You know, so like, as long as it's even,
right? I think part
I
of the
don't
problem,
feel like there's an advantage somewhere. That's all I'm the part of. I want to see that it's even. You know.
I agree, right? And I think the reason I just wanted to bring it up is the message I get a lot when I share this is people are like, you're such a minority. And what I try to express to people is there's so many people like me that actually agree with me from my world. It's just our voices aren't being listened to. So yeah, right? I'm all about...
It's a small crowd, bro. You have a small crowd, so it's hard to get that. But it seems like you guys keep building every day. You guys are getting there. One day you will have your own league. I promise you that. I think you will. It'll be a league for you guys. I promise you that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that crazy curveball of a question. So yeah, I'm a fan. Timmy B, as you know, is a fan. And this was an awesome interview.
Yeah. No, we learned so much, Bobby, about you, and I like your takes on things, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to speak with you. Before we let you go, and before I end with one last question, is there anything that you want to say to fans, friends, viewers, and listeners of the show, and fans of yours?
Man, if you're watching, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for being a part of my journey, watching me through all this stuff. It means so much, because to be honest, like the fact that you just even watched my fight means the world. I'm not going to act like I'm bigger than that or anything like that. Just the fact that somebody wants to watch or cares about me is amazing. And I'm so thankful, I'm so thankful. And that's all I can say is thank you for being a part of this. I'll keep trying to do the best I can to impress and keep you guys watching.
That's right, Bobby. And last question that got submitted. I didn't really like this one. I wasn't going to ask it, but this was the question says, for Timmy B, are you happier today interviewing Bobby Green or on your wedding day? And this is from my wife submitted this question, Bobby.
Holy crap! Your wife!
I mean,
holy crap! I thought you were going to say some random fan. It's like, yo, girl hit you up with this one. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a trap, Bobby. This is a trap. I don't like this question, but Bobby, as much as I love you, my wife, I love her the most. And of course, my wedding day.
Thank you. You better say that. You better say that. Don't do that, bro. You better say that. Don't get in trouble. You got to go lay down with her. You got to go lay down with her. Don't get killed.
No.
We're having that guy, Timmy B. He was a great interviewer.
I was sweating, Bobby. Bobby Green. Bobby, you are the absolute greatest, man. You did not disappoint. I'll tell you, like I said, my whole life, for over 10 years, I've been watching you. You are my favorite fighter in the whole world, Bobby. I can't wait to see you fight your next fight, your next. I can't wait for you to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. All the good things that are due in your life, Bobby, and to you and to your family. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. The world appreciates you, Bobby. Know that all the time, that people love you. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Man, thank you so much. I didn't know that you were looking for me, and it was it's an honor to be here. You know what I mean? I didn't even know, man. And sometimes you didn't even know that something's right around the corner, and you made me feel special, bro. You really did. Like, I don't even fucking think nobody watches or cares about this shit, I'm just doing it, and if you're watching, you like it, I'm just doing it, and I'm leaving it for somebody to watch at the end when I'm gone,
Yeah, man. No, you're awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Bobby, for coming on the podcast. Hopefully we'll talk again one day. But if we don't, just know that we're always got your back. We're always in your corner, my friend.
And get
I appreciate that, brother.
All right. See you later, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was cool.
Oh, dream come true. I'm going to end this podcast. I'm going to quit. I'm going to cancel this podcast for the rest of my life. There's no moment will get better than this for me, Brady Bunch. I can't explain to you. This was such a cool moment for me. So he was a cool dude. Hold on. I think he's here. Hold on. What are you saying? You were gone. What are you saying?
I said, I want to see you be the next Ariel. I truly believe you have the talent.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
I got it, Bobby. I'll do my best. Thank you, buddy.
Peace.
See ya.
You got to make that into a promo.
Oh, my God. I could see him talking because you know what happens? Like when I remove them, just so it doesn't look awkward while they're moving their screen, I bump them to it just moves them to the bottom. But then I saw him talking into the camera. So I was like, oh, shoot, I got to bring him back. Brady Bunch, what a cool moment. Holy moly. What a cool moment. I love that guy. The way he answered all the questions, very surprising. I thought I was going to lead him into that he loves the UFC and that they do have a really good relationship and that he does get the fights he wants. And that, because I didn't want to bring it up while he's on the podcast, but if you watch his other interviews, he talks about how the UFC paid for his brother's funeral, like out of nowhere, they did that for him. Like he does seem to have a good relationship. But he took it a different way. He took those a little bit different.
You know what though? I feel like this is my opinion. I feel like the answer, like the direction you were going and his direction, it's like somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
I think the UFC does like him. And I think he's right in the sense that they're using him as like, yes, you're one of our sacrificial lambs. We're going to see how this goes out with this young blood, right? But we do like you, and that's why we will like.
Yeah, but he doesn't lose, right? Like he's not. I mean, he's beating the dudes. That's that's the thing. I mean, he beats them and he beats them, and then even when he loses, did he really lose? Like
no. We
look at Fiziev, who was like the next big thing, next title challenger. Bobby was this freaking close to beating him. I mean, like the wind blows a different way, and Bobby wins that fight. Like it was that close. I mean, the fights that Bobby loses are almost all fight of the nights, like, which means he's in there. I mean, that Drew Dober fight, good God. It's like two people standing with a gun, just shooting point blank at one another. I mean, it was insane, that fight. So, Bobby Green, always one of my favorites. If you are here in the podcast because of Bobby Green, thank you so much for coming. Please, as Brady Bunch said at the beginning, follow and subscribe to us, especially on Spotify. I want to try and start driving our Spotify subscriptions. Even if you're watching on YouTube all the time, which is great, just go on Spotify and follow us. Just give us a follow on there, even if you never watch it. Just follow us on there because getting the numbers up really helps us. I do want to thank, some friends of the podcast update that we always do. Brady Bunch, our podcast network that we're on, RageWorksNetwork.com. Go check us out there. Check out lots of other podcasts. If you are listening to the only audio version, this was a very interesting video version because Bobby was pretty much naked. There was one point where he was kind of leaning back. I was like, oh, this might get not safe for work. But RageWorks Podcast Network. Coming up this Friday, March 30th, Daniel the Predator James. We had him on the podcast a few weeks ago. He fights his main event fight at Bellator on Friday, March 30th. Also on March 30th, make sure you're watching on Fight Pass, BFL, Battlefield Fight. That's where Alana Cook, the Alanimal, fights. Both of those are the greatest people. Holy cow. Brady Bunch, we've been very lucky with our guests. Great people, right? Like great people, like great personalities.
Yes.
Bobby, I knew was going to be Bobby. I mean, I hoped, but Bobby was Bobby. He was wonderful, happy, outgoing. I will tell you, I was listening to the Alanimal podcast back just yesterday. She was extremely likable.
Yes.
Like, if you listen to that podcast and you're not immediately a super fan of hers, there's something wrong with you, like mentally wrong with you, because she is so lovable. Like, it was crazy. I just think she was great, and I really hope for all her success. Our good friend Ray Rowland, the Slim Reaper, he fought at Up Next Fighting last weekend. He gets another beautiful victory. That dude is now on a 2-fight win streak. Amateur fighter, fights for Up Next Fighting. He is the next big thing. Go follow that dude. He is such a cool dude, and I'm so happy for you, Ray Rowland. Good job, my friend. Next week on the podcast, I'm not 100% sure because I'll tell you, Brady Bunch, I was just so focused on this Bobby Green interview. I forgot that I needed to book guests for the following weeks. But I think we're having the Queen of the South, Kate Bakich. She is an English MMA fighter. She just won her fight with Cage Warriors, which is a massive promotion. And she fights out of Great Britain Top Team. So Kate Bakich, we hope to see you next week. Queen of the South. Go check her out. She's awesome. Brady Bunch, we're almost at the hour. So, I mean, I don't know if we even bother talking about anything else. I was going to talk about ONE FC and just some of their social media drama. But we can leave that for another day. How are you? Everything good with you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just enjoyed this interview so much. It was actually really good.
What did you think he was going to be like that? Did you think he was going to be different? Like,
no, I kind of expected him to roll in the way he did, which is why I enjoyed it so much. Like, I felt like...
Yeah? Okay.
And hearing him say, I think this is one of, 2 interviews he's done this year, right? So cool. And I mean it. Like, I'm inspired, just like I think it was Alexa Culp with the foster care stuff. Like, I love that he was like, yo, reach out. I'm really thinking of reaching out to him. his talk about the love, I kind of dig, even though I'm a mental health counselor, right? His talk about like happiness.
Yeah.
What I was going to chime in about is I would say that I think a lot of the best female fighters have that mentality he was talking about where, you know, they don't feel bad for themselves. They got their eyes on the prize and they don't waste time focused on so much emotion.
Okay.
You know, so I kind of liked some of his shake it off, walk it off type talk, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I do believe men should be able to cry and show some emotion, but I get it. When you're fighting in such a setting, it's a different ball game.
But I feel like he kind of was talking, not in circles, but he kind of hit on everything because he was saying, hey, look, there are high moments, there are low moments, right? I think what he was saying is you don't have the time to focus. Like, if you are a motivated and focused individual, you don't really have time to focus on how you're feeling. You can't quantify that as a number. But he was saying, no, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm happy, like I'm all over the place. But then he got to the point where he said, well, I'm at my happiest when I'm helping people. And I'm like, okay, so, but that kind of is the answer too, right? So,
yes. So like the way I thought about it, I basically thought the same way you did. I felt like, yes, happiness comes and goes, right? But I also got like, he largely was like, yeah, if I were to stop and think about my life during a training camp, like, yes, that emotion may come out, right? And that's where it's like, no, you toughen it out in that sense. But yes, you're right. He brought it full circle where he's like, where I really get my happiness is when I'm helping others, which I can relate to. Actually.
Yeah. No, I know. It's interesting. You know, it's funny because do you watch these podcasts back? Like, do you watch them back?
I either listen or I watch.
Listen or watch? I find that I get a lot more out of it when I listen to it back, like than being in the moment. Sometimes I think because I'm worried about the next question sometimes, or I'm trying to think about where I need to go, or I'm trying to watch you on the screen to say like, okay, is Brady Bunch trying to catch in here or something? So sometimes I think I like doing this now though on the podcast, kind of like
post
yeah, like a post-mortem on the podcast, you know, like I like talking about it. But yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot that I'm going to listen back to this podcast and be like, oh, that's something that was, you know, that was a moment, right? Yes. Something that you learn from or something. So yeah, no, Bobby Green, holy cow. I can't believe it. Started this podcast a little over 2 years ago. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever spoken to Bobby Green. And when I started the podcast, I also had no idea that he does so few interviews. I didn't know that he doesn't do that. So aside from the fact I would have never thought, I do have one other photo I got to show. Hold on. This one's cute as hell. This is a little panda baby. This is Julia Avila, the raging panda. We had her on our podcast long ago before she was pregnant. Here's her baby.
Adorable.
Eris. And it's so cute. I'll tell you, if you follow the raging panda, she's been taking her baby Eris to coach with her at like jujitsu tournaments and stuff. And so she's carrying Eris as she's screaming instruction. And then here she was posting saying that Coach Eris is going to corner her first MMA fight. So that's got to be the youngest MMA coach in the world. I'm pretty sure. But
I love it.
Cute as hell. Look at that uniform. Look at that outfit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what else is going on. The fights. I don't know. I'm not even going to be able to think straight for the next couple days at least.
Well, you know what's coming up? I'm just going to throw it out there. Masvidal's Game Bred Boxing, April 1st.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
And, yeah. I
may actually try to watch it.
Wait, what do you mean? Like you're going to be there?
No. I'm hoping it's streamed.
Yeah. It's got to be something. B. Nguyen is fighting on that. She's boxing. B. Nguyen, the former 1FC MMA fighter. She's the manager of...
Was it...
Maya.
That's who it was.
She's the manager of Maya. She's fighting.
Yeah.
So that's a good fight on that card. I don't know who else is fighting. I just know B. Nguyen is fighting.
What's his face? Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, yes. Roy Jones Jr. versus Showtime Pettis. Yes, that's right. That's the big fight for that card.
And I feel like, you know what? I'm going to look it up because I feel like it's pretty. I feel like there's a lot of familiar names. That's the only reason why I think I'll check it out.
Yeah. And sorry, it's Mia, not Maya. Mia Gra. Mia Gra. We had her on. She was episode 103. So yeah, Mia Gra. She was awesome too. Yeah, we've been lucky with guests, Brady Bunch, I'll tell you. Coming up on the podcast, I think we have another UFC fighter and then a couple of other fighters, some coaches. So we're going to go all over the place. We're going to keep this ball rolling.
You know who's fighting, actually? Aldo is fighting on this card.
Oh, Jose Aldo is boxing. Right. Yeah.
Against Jeremy Stevens. But you are right.
Oh, yes. I do love Jeremy Stevens.
Yes. So you know what? You're right. I have a feeling, listen, the momentum's going. We got all these awesome guests, like you were saying. I have a feeling we're just going to get some cooler, well, I shouldn't say cooler and bigger names, but
yeah.
everyone's fucking cool.
Okay, no, hold on. I think we did this at the end. I think maybe off air we did this. Because for people of the podcast, fans of the podcast, Brady Bunch and I will talk for like at least half an hour to an hour after the podcast ends. Yeah. And then so many times I think, oh, we should just keep recording, which is what I'm doing now. Who cares? I'm not going to stop it. Okay. To me, Bobby Green, that was probably the biggest guest I could ever hope for or ever want. Last week you were saying there were some people that you would like really die for.
Yeah.
Who would be like, okay, we've got Bobby Green, check that box. That's for Timmy B. Who's the Brady Bunch box that we got to check?
You know what? So I feel like this is my problem. I name a lot of retired fighters.
Yeah.
So I would love to interview like GSP, the Diaz brothers, right? But when we talk about like the current stock, we could get John Jones.
No, I'm not having John Jones on.
Right?
Yeah.
I would love to get some female superstars. Like, imagine if we got Bullet on here to talk about her last loss. Imagine, I'm trying to think of who else. Of course, Conor McGregor. I don't think we'll ever be able to pull it off, but just the fucking noise that would create.
Yeah. No, but I mean like that you would really be interested to talk to, like someone that you think would be truly interesting to have a conversation with.
Izzy.
Yeah?
I think it would be interesting to interview Izzy. Talk about like his current feelings around his upcoming fight,
everything,
history.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, it's funny because you're going all for champions, right? I always find it just turns out I always find like people that aren't champions more interesting. Like to me, like Tai Tuivasa,
yes,
would be a weird one. Like I wonder how that dude is. But if I'm thinking about people that I've loved forever, Kelvin Gastelum, I mean, I met him in real life and we had a good conversation. So, I mean, I feel like that box kind of has half checked off for me, you know?
I would love to get a Holly Holm on for an interview.
All right, hold on. We're well past the time now. We're at 1:07. Doesn't matter. We're still recording. Holly Holm's comments.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to go there right now.
No?
Yeah.
I will say on the Holly Holm comments, the comments were like 50-50 in terms of people took it one way versus taking it another and then another group didn't even understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But yeah, Holly Holm, you would want to have her on though after all that?
I would love to see if she's willing to actually talk about what she's talking about.
I don't think she's released any statement since, right?
They did have the post interview where she
where she explained a little bit.
Yes,
but that's prior to her probably realizing it was causing all the drama online.
I don't think she cares. She's a preacher's daughter. No offense, people.
But what is that? I don't even know what that means. I don't know how much of that is like a nickname versus like.
No, I think I think her father literally was like a preacher.
No, I know, but in those bumpkin states, isn't like every third guy a preacher? Probably, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like
we're not. We love people from all 50 states. Yes.
Yes. I didn't mean bumpkin state, like bumpkin town. Like some small town, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Whoa! We love everybody.
But you know what? Real quick.
So you got to reach out to her then because
she'll ignore me. That's the problem.
No. Hold on. You've got following. You've got numbers.
Here's the truth. Holly and I once bumped into each other face to face years back in Brooklyn. We stood this close at a street corner. It was a really good experience. But no, I think she'll be like that Erin Tufthill or whatever her is, who makes lots of comments, claims she's all about freedom of speech, claims whatever. And then when I asked her to sit down, avoids, claims she'll only meet me at a bar or only meet me at an event she's fighting at. Come on.
Okay, but hold on. Okay, but can you just do this for the podcast? Just try to reach out to Holly Holm.
All right.
Try to reach out, like DM, go DM and go public with comments and see if you can get her attention and see if she'll come on. I'd love to talk to her. The only one little comment I'll make, and it's because I posted it on our Instagram before.
Yeah.
When she made the comment that she made, in my uneducated / oblivious mind,
yes,
I was thinking in my head, the only thing I was thinking was Michelle Watterson's going to be pissed at you, because Karate Hottie does those videos where her daughter is like twerking and stuff.
Interesting.
And they are close. Like those two girls are close.
Interesting.
And I was in my head at the moment in time, I just immediately thought, ooh, your friend is going to be pissed at this.
Yeah.
Again, not because Michelle is doing anything wrong or thinks she's doing anything wrong, or probably thinks that the Holly comment is aimed at her, but I just thought, ooh, that's weird.
Yes.
But okay, let's go for Holly.
Just here's the truth. I'm going to start targeting lots of people. Maybe Pena.
Yeah. Pena. Pena's my next big one.
That would be great. I think she has a grudge with you. Angie Overkill.
Yeah. Angie Overkill Hill, God damn it. Get on the podcast. Yes. Unblock me first and then come on the podcast, Angie.
Yeah, she's really shown a lot of growth, I think, too, lately. As a fighter. Always been a fan.
She's a friend, and she's a friend of so many friends of the podcast.
All right.
But you know what? I dare never say, hey, can you see if Angie blah, blah? Because I don't want to ruin my relationship with the people we know. Like, if they go and go, hey, Fighting Side Podcast should be like, fuck that guy. So,
no, on a whole other note, talking about these other orgs, I think we should target some of the champs. Like, imagine if we got Mighty Mouse on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here's a quick thing. Do you think 1FC is going to do well at all in America on this card that they've got coming up?
You want to know the truth? I know so little about it that it makes
exactly
almost not. But as I've told you, like in my kickboxing gym, it seems like that's what everyone's talking about. Like people are watching. In my circle, the people I grew up with, I don't know.
So 1FC had their event last week.
Yeah.
On Friday on Prime. The freaking audio is messed up. The whole card. It had a 4-second delay. You know how annoying it is to watch a fight with a 4-second delay when like the person kicks the person and then 4 seconds later you hear, psh.
I was put it on mute at that point.
It was terrible. And I tweeted about it. 1FC tweeted back saying, oh, we're sorry. Sometimes if you just turn the app on and off, blah, blah. And then a whole bunch of people were responding to my tweet going, yep, for me too. Yep, for me too. It's like, you're a major organization. You got to fix this shit. You're on Amazon Prime. Figure this shit out. Like you can't have technical glitches. Here's the problem with the card that they have on May 5th in America. I'm going to show it on screen on my phone. Okay. Right. That's the one headlined by Mighty Mouse. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of the light there.
All right.
It's got Sage Northcutt, which nobody cares about. It's got our friend Elise Anderson. She's fighting Stamp Fairtex. That's a good fight. But can I tell you the funny thing? And this is what's going to kill them in America. I think what's going to kill them in America. The third fight on the main card, or the third fight from the top on the main card, is the Flyweight Submission Grappling World Championship.
Yeah.
Fuck off with that. You can't be putting that on an MMA card. I don't think that's going to fly. I think the American crowd is going to be pissed at that.
See, but you know what? There's so many there's so many niche fans now. So there are people that will go and watch a fucking 90-minute fucking rolling
No. But that's what I mean. If you want to come and do a card that's all jiu-jitsu, go for it. Do it. And I will watch that card. But the problem is when you come to America with your first MMA card, or that's kind of what it is. And then they've got MMA, World Grappling. Then they've got Muay Thai. Okay, fine. Muay Thai Championship. Fine. Maybe. That's as far as I would go. Then you get your Mighty Mouse MMA fight. I just don't think sticking in that grappling on the main card is a smart move. I'm sorry.
What if they had like combat jiu-jitsu rules?
No, combat jiu-jitsu needs to go to hell. I hate that. That's the stupidest shit. Just fight. Fuck's sakes. If you're willing to take the slaps to the face, just fight then. And just fight an MMA fight, for God's sakes.
My question is, how hard can you hit someone?
You can hit someone as hard as you want. We had, on our podcast back in the early days, we had the guy that was popular for getting bloodied up like crazy. Like he was on all the promos for combat jiu-jitsu because he's the first guy that got pummeled and he was pouring blood out of his face because the other guy didn't give a shit about jiu-jitsu. He just went into the guy's guard and just started palm striking the shit out of him.
See,
It's so stupid.
That's where I think,
and I love that dude. He was a great guest on our podcast. He puts out amazing content on his Instagram. And of course, I'm drawing a blank now as to his name because I'm a horrible person. I'll find it. Anyways, I'll find it.
Guess what? Now imagine this ONE FC card, but with that style. I think people would watch because it would be close enough to like,
It's still so stupid.
I gotta say, I was watching some highlights. And I was like,
Michael Courier. All right,
I've heard of him.
Episode 9. Oh boy. Episode 9.
Yeah. You know what? We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see how that ONE FC card goes. Anyways, that's what we're going to talk about. But anyways, okay, we're at 116. Bobby Green's podcast with Joe Rogan was 3 hours and 50 minutes.
All right.
So that was a long podcast. So we didn't go that long. So that's good. But I appreciate him giving us so much time. Holy moly. That was crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim.
All right. Anything you want to say before we go? Any words of advice or wisdom to people?
Basically just fucking follow your dreams, block up the fucking haters.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, it seems like an opponent I was supposed to fight in May is running and bitching out, which we've talked about. So I hope I have some cool fight news soon. I know Celebrity Boxing's already organizing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I'm a little scared. As you know, there's an organization I'm talking to, a pro organization I'm fighting for, but I feel like listening to Bobby King Green's feedback, maybe I should think twice about this decision.
No. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. From where he's coming from, he's like a superstar, made it. So to him, that's a different thing. But I think in today's world, it's changing.
Yes.
I don't know. And he says he said in the interview, he goes, and that's going to ruin your face and blah, blah. But it doesn't happen. Those chicks in that organization are still on OnlyFans making lots of money. And it's not, they're not grotesque looking. So,
true.
Yeah, no, I don't know. All right, let's get out of here. We'll see you next week. Everybody, thank you for watching and listening. Follow and subscribe. Go grab your boyfriend's phone, your girlfriend's phone. Subscribe on those phones as well. Give us double subscribes. All right. See you later, pretty bunch.
Good one.
Have a good one.